Hello there everybody, and today I want to talk to you about two types of behaviours that I call slingshots and boomerangs. Hey there everybody, my name's Dave Cottrell, aka Mindset by Dave, and I've been working as a mindset and mental health coach for the last 4 years. Part of that job involves habit change, and today I'm going to talk to you about my theory on habit change that hopefully will help you make some big changes. But before we get into the main content, I just want to remind you that I stream every Tuesday from 10 AM till 4 PM and every Sunday from 7 PM till 10 PM on twitch.tv/mindset by Dave, where we talk about mental health, mindset, habit change, personal development, and all those sorts of things. So come along and join in part of the chat. Anyway, slingshots and boomerangs. The work we do towards our goals isn't the only thing that contributes the results we get. It's actually the balance between the work we do towards our goals versus the work we do away from them. Now, there are steps that take us towards that are quite obvious, and there are steps that take us away that are quite obvious. But a slingshot and a boomerang are kind of the bits where it goes one way, then goes another. We're going to start with boomerangs because I like to start with the ones that are more negative and then move on to the positive. A boomerang is something that takes you forward only to bring you back. So like a boomerang in real life, you throw it, it goes whipping forward, and if you know what you're doing with it, it comes back. Now what I mean with this with a behaviour is it gives you some sort of instant gratification straight away. So it gives you a positive, and that positive is usually an itch that you need scratching. Some of the biggies being stress relief, connection, comfort, escapism. All of these things are an itch that you probably need to scratch, and the boomerang almost certainly helps you scratch that itch, at least in the short term. This is the boomerang going forward. So let's say the one I'll talk about first is I used to comfort eat when I was a kid. I was getting bullied in school and I'd go home and I'd basically be so out of comfort during the day that I would go home and I'd basically eat biscuits and dunk them in tea till I had no tea left to dunk biscuits into. And the thing is, at first, that'd give me a few hours of comfort. But eventually, the more I did it, it went on to only give me a few moments of comfort. But always when that boomerang came whipping back, I was more uncomfortable than ever because I had all the problems that were there in school were still there, but now I had like a nice layer of self-loathing resting on top of it. Went from having 99 problems to putting food on top of it and having 100. And then the thing is, the more I went along with that behavior, the more it took to get that first initial positive. You see this a lot of times with people for drinking or drugs. One of the most common ones with drinking actually is connection. It's not just about getting out of your mind. Connection is often down to the fact that if a person only drinks with their friends, the friends that they see, they only see them when they're drinking, and that person needs to feel connection. And the fear is that if their drinking is taken away, then the connection would be taken away as well. And then, basically escapism with things like drugs or porn or video games. If the person is trying to escape, they're not necessarily trying to do that thing. The person's not necessarily wanting specifically the drugs or the porn binge. They're wanting what those things give them, which might be escapism from the thing that they're actually experiencing in their day-to-day life. The problem isn't that we need these things in the first place, because it's very natural in human life to want escapism or to want connection or to want stress relief or control. But how we choose to actually scratch those itches, that's where the problem lies. And it's not so much that the person can't kick the habit, it's just that they need that itch scratching. And if we can find alternative ways to scratch that same itch, it makes the whole process a lot easier. If that person can find other ways for connection, i.e. inviting the friends out for a coffee, or joining up with a group of people online that talk about a particular topic and there's no drinking necessarily involved. If that person who's looking for stress relief, instead of reaching for that food, can do something like go and have a bath or watch some stand-up comedy, it's going to be easier for that person. Now, I say easier, it's not going to be easy. Certainly simple, but not easy, because this is where the second type comes into it. And the second type is a slingshot. With a slingshot in real life, you pull it back, you put it under tension, and you let it fly forward. Now, that's the same with a lot of the habits that we might do to replace the habit that we're actually working with, because it's not going to give you the same instant gratification that other habits do. Like the habit that you've got involved with the boomerang, it's effective because instant gratification. It's there, it's straight away. But with the Slingshot, we actually often have to put in the work, put in the effort, and we actually have to go through a more uncomfortable period, whether that is 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, 10 months. We have to go through a more uncomfortable period in order to actually get the result. The result is later on. But using our human parts of our brain, we can rationalize this and we can think about it, especially when we're not in that crunch period, right? That exact moment where you've got to make that split-second decision. We can think about these things and we can plan for these things. Now, when it comes to the actual crunch moments, this is why I say it's easier, or it's simple, but it's not easy. When it comes to that crunch moment, your brain is wired to go to the boomerang because the boomerang gives you that instant relief. So what you need to do in this moment is just take a pause and ask yourself, what could I do differently? What else could I do to scratch this same itch? And then as a kind of added bonus, one of the things when you go and choose to do that opposite thing, when you go and elect to do the slingshot behavior, you can get a little bit of instant gratification by just taking a moment to be proud of yourself for the fact that you've done it. You could have gone back to the thing that you've been trying to get away from so easily, and you didn't. So the fact that you've gone and chosen something else, a different way to scratch that itch, you're a legend. You deserve a bit of credit for that. And you know what? That credit needs to come from you. So take a little moment, basically a little, success kid meme, little moment to give yourself a pat on the back, because then we get the instant gratification again. And that's going to help you switch these boomerangs into the slingshots. As always, I hope you've got some value from this video, and if you have, please hit that subscribe button. And also please remember, if you want to join in these discussions live anytime, well, not anytime, but Tuesday from 10 till 4 and Sunday from 7 till 10, twitch.tv/mindsetbydave, and I would love to have you as part of the community. In fact, also, if you want to do these type of things offline, I'll drop a link in the description to our Discord channel as well, where you can come along, and we've got an accountability corner there. If you're trying to actually get along with a new habit, you can talk in there and get some accountability and get some motivation and a bit of a push from the rest of the community. Link to that in the description below. Catch you soon.